Okay, so here let's look at number 1. In the local newspaper, it was reported that scientists found 8 deer in 12 square miles. How many deer do they expect to find in 51 square miles? So we have 8 deer in 12 square miles, and we want to find out X, the amount of deer they expect to find in 51 square miles. So we will cross multiply, so 12 times X and 51 times 8. So we're going to write it out like this. 12 times X equals 51 times 8. Okay, we're going to divide both sides by 12. So 12 divided by 12 is 1, so that cancels out. And 51 times 8 divided by 12. So 51 times 8, we can do a quick little multiplication if you don't already know it in your head. So this should be 8, this should be 40. So this is 408 divided by 12. Now you can always do it the long way and do division, but for the time being, I'm just going to put it into the calculator. But I highly recommend that you manually solve it. So this is 34. So the answer is C. Let's look at number 2. Actually, let's go to page 2. Okay. Let's look at number 3. So an automobile factory produced 300 cars in 6 days. If the factory keeps producing cars at the same rate, how many days will the factory need to produce 400 cars? So we know that 300 cars are being produced in 6 days, and we want to find out how many cars or how many days does it take to produce 400 cars? So once again, we're going to cross multiply. So it's going to be 300 times X and 6 times 400. Okay, so we're going to divide both sides by 300 like this. 300 divided by 300 is 1. And we're going to find out what this is. So 400 times 6 is 2,400 divided by 300. So that should be 8. So the answer should be B. It will take 8 days for the factory to produce 400 cars. Okay, let's look at number 4. Out of every 8 students at Preston High, Junior High, so out of every 8 students, 6 students study Spanish. So what is the number of students who study Spanish if the total number is 320? So we have 6 out of 8 students that study Spanish, and we want to know how many study Spanish if the total number of students is 320. So this is how you should write it out. 6/8 of 320. And the off basically means you're multiplying. So let's multiply. So 320. And to make it easier, if you're a visual learner, you can add a 1 to the denominator if that helps. So quick multiplication. 32 times 6. 12. 18 plus 1, 19. If you add the 0 back, it's 1,920 divided by 8. For times being, I'm going to put it into the calculator, but I highly recommend that you do it manually. So you should get 240. So the answer is 240. Let's look at number 6. Out of 9 animals at the local zoos, there are 2 birds. How many birds are at the zoo if the total number of animals is 81? So once again, we're going to write it out. 2 out of the 9 animals are birds, and we're going to multiply it directly instead of writing of, because now we know that that means it's being multiplied. So this should be 162 divided by 9. I'm going to put it into the calculator. So 162 divided by 9 should get us 18. All right. Let's look at number 9. So for every 6 horses, there are 8 cows. Which of the following ratios is equivalent to the ratio of cows to horses? So notice how they switched it up. Cows to horses, not horses to cows. So the number should be in that order. So we're going to write it out. Cows to horses. And we're going to simplify it. So both of them are divisible by 2. So it should be 4 to 3. A would not match because it's not simplified. One of the numbers is not simplified. B would not match because one of the numbers is not simplified. And you should not get C unless you switched these numbers, unless you thought it was asking horses to cows. But it does clearly say they're asking cows to horses. So keep that in mind when choosing the option. Okay, and let's go back to this page and try number 8, because this is similar. So for every 6 blue cars, there are 4 red cars in the parking lot. Which of the following ratios is equivalent to the ratio of blue cars to red cars? So 6 cars to 4 cars. And it says a local thrift store sold 15 shirts in 3 hours. Which of the following ratio is equivalent to that as well? So 15 to 3. So let's work on the first one. Both of them are divisible by 2. So this should be 3 to 2. And if we look at the 15 one, ratio of hours. Oh, see, I made a mistake myself. Ratio of hours. So 3 to 15. 15. So both of them are divisible by 3. So this one would be 1 to 5. But the answer choices are only for the first part of the question, so we're going to select 3 to 2. And for the first part of the question, you should not have gotten 3 to 4, not 4 to 3, and you've only could have gotten 2 to 3 if you switched blue cars to red cars or red cars to blue cars. So that's that. Go ahead and try some on your own for practice.